Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Game, the roundtable show where we talk about gaming, arts, movies, electronics, and pretty much everything else. I am your host, GQ. If you want to join in on the conversation, you can email us, gameshowchat@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on Twitter, go to @gameshowchat. If you want to like us on Facebook, go to the description in the video, and also make sure you subscribe to this channel so you can be aware of all the upcoming episodes of Game and all the new episodes of Game as they come out. So we're going to get right into our topic. We're going to be talking about first-person shooters. It's one of the most popular franchises, most popular genres in gaming right now. So let's introduce Megashawn to my left, the great Dadakuji to my right. Gentlemen, game on, let's talk about it. What makes first-person shooters, or FPS, whatever you want to call it, so popular?
Well, I think a lot of people, they like the aspect of it makes them kind of feel like they're there. Because obviously with the third person, you're going to get the introduction that obviously it's not you, you're controlling this person. But with a first person, it's you, it's just you and when they have the hands and you're running around like that. So it just kind of gives it a whole new feel and it's taking it from your perspective, a la first person.
Okay.
And then there's obviously five that I really, 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 really love a lot. Battlefield. BioShock, even though that's more of a first-person RPG type, but it's still a great, great, great game. The Rainbow Six, and I have to give credit to some of those originators in the Doom and Wolfenstein.
Wolfenstein 3D.
Yeah.
Now, it's good that you bring that up. A lot of people consider Wolfenstein 3D to be the first ever first-person shooter game. Now, from what I understand, there's a game even farther back than that back in the 70s called Maze War. Now, Maze War is supposed to be the originator of the entire first-person shooter franchise. Now, I'm going to have to see if I can find some footage on that game because 73 is before any of us were born.
Yeah.
It's a couple years before I was born, definitely. So, that's going pretty far back. But I guess they're saying that's kind of the game that gave the birth to not the franchise, but the genre. Just kind of set up the earlier elements of the first-person shooter genre.
What was that on, like a Commodore or something like that?
That thing probably was on one of the IBM computers back when IBM was making PCs and all that sort of thing. So it seems like this isn't really your favorite genre from what I understand.
Do not really care for first-person shooters at all. I played them since Wolfenstein and Blackstone and Doom was kind of fun, but they really made me sick. I would play the game and the freaking gun is going like this and you're getting lost and I'm just like, you know what, I'm turning this off, I can't play it. I still, every once in a while, I try to get back into them. I prefer a third-person shooter as opposed to a first-person shooter. I would rather them have an option in every single game. If you want to play a first person, play a first person. Want to play a third person, play a third person. Because I can't understand why they're so popular at all. I get people playing them because of the competition, maybe in a deathmatch and all that stuff, because I know a lot of people that don't play the story mode at all. Or if they do, they play a long time after they get, thousands of kills in deathmatch. But I can't play them. I can move around in them. I cannot understand for the life of me. I have been many times playing Halo with you guys, and I'm shooting living crap out of somebody, and they don't die, and then they come, bang, I'm dead. I was like, okay, what is the deal? What am I not doing that you guys are doing?
It's that headshot, the one shot, one kill.
I'm shooting them in the head. Oh, the gun starts from your feet, and you shoot nowadays. Before it was just shooting straight. You shoot straight. Now it's like, you shoot the gun, and it's supposed to give a realistic the gun, so it's constantly moving up. So I always aim down and move up. It's gonna hit them in the head eventually. They still don't die.
Okay, so now, in regards to what you just said, if you're lighting somebody up, starting from the feet coming up, and they come directly at you and hit from the chest up, you're not gonna win that.
Hey, but if I'm pumping 100, 200 bullets inside of you, and you hit me with one, come on.
So, it's all into the feet.
You get shot enough in your feet, you're gonna die.
Yeah, exactly. Now, realistically, you shoot somebody in the foot, they should be down. But of course, games, they don't really, they're not getting that detailed. They're not getting that graphic and that detailed in it. Of course, in Halo, you have shields for days. It seems like you can get shot. As long as you run around the corner and hide long enough, you're good.
Yeah.
But and that's kind of something that always gotten to bother me about Halo was the shields. But again, as they get more advanced and as you're shooting rockets and grenades and Terry Cruz's gun from the Expendables at people, I would expect somebody to drop a little bit faster. So I can understand where he's coming from, given that you're shooting and shooting and shooting, and then all of a sudden, pow, you're done. You know, and
Well, now, in regards to that, there are a slew of games now that have a hardcore mode. So if you are, in fact, the one pulling the trigger first, then more than likely you'll be the one to benefit from that because it might take 1 or 2 shots, shield or no shield. But
yeah, because they're gonna have to sell me on first-person shooters because I have a few in my collection and I want to play them, but I just really haven't had the reason to play them by myself. And I know they're so old now that people are not playing them deathmatch anymore.
now, which ones do you have?
Well, let me go into my head now.
Well,
I have
hold on.
Halo.
Okay, you got Halo, but let's.
Halo, you know.
I'm gonna cut it real quick because I'm gonna go to the one that I know that he has, I have, and everybody in the audience that ever had a Nintendo 64 has. GoldenEye 007.
It made me sick.
You need to pop an airborne before you play a
I
game,
don't know what the heck
because I don't know what's going on with your
trying to
motion
play
sickness there.
That has been the only game I've ever bought a system for. Like I did enjoy that Mario, but I didn't mess with that. I didn't mess with Banjo or anything like that. I bought that 64 for GoldenEye. That game was, it changed lives.
It was an emotional experience for
It
you.
was.
Okay.
It was, because you're shooting through doors with the PC-90, and then you have the gold gun, and you have those 2 DD Distovas, or I might not be pronouncing the name right, but
They're
I mean,
Russian guns. Most people don't get the names right anyway.
but it was fantastic, and even the story mode was great. But just that multiplayer, and I could only have imagined how big it could have been had online been something that was, coming up, better than what it is now. Because, unless you had a decent sized TV, I remember playing with my cousins, and it's, we're on a 20-something inch TV, and there's 4 of us, and everybody's, tracking their guy. But, man, GoldenEye.
Didn't they re-release it though?
They did. They did.
I mean, wasn't it the same GoldenEye that they re-released recently?
Well,
I mean,
here was the problem with the re-release of GoldenEye. They had to do it twice, actually, because the first time they did it on the Wii. And we already know the Wii's controller is not the Nintendo 64's controller. The Nintendo 64 controller, in my opinion, was one of the best controllers, especially for that game, that had ever been made. So you have the Wii controller trying to emulate that. You can't do it because you don't have your analog control. You have that Pro controller, as they call it. It didn't cut it. And if you had a backwards compatible Wii that used GameCube controllers, you could use the Wavebird. That was the closest you were going to get to that 64 control, but you still weren't going to get that 64 control. And then they re-released it again for the Xbox and PlayStation, and I personally didn't pick that up because I'm like, look, I'll just bring out my 64 and play this game again.
Yeah, you could always do that.
Because it's not the same. Like a first-person shooter is I mean, it's you. You're the one doing the interacting. Now, granted, the love that I have for them is based mostly on online, and not so much like a BioShock. It's just mainly based, military-based, is why I enjoy them. Because doing it third person, it just kind of takes away from it a little bit. I remember Rainbow Six, when you went to hide, behind a box or behind the wall, it would kind of zoom out for you then. Because obviously, if you're as a first person, then you're just looking straight and you have no idea. Right, you have no idea who's coming. So I loved how they did it in that aspect.
Okay, well, we're running out of time, but I mean, I'm sure that this is a discussion. I mean, I'm sure people are mad at us for not mentioning their favorite franchise. I'm sure people are mad at us for saying that Halo shields are a little bit too much, but that's okay, because we want you guys to get in on this discussion too. Make sure you leave your comments in the comment section, subscribe to this channel. Email us. I mean, I'm going to hate reading all the hate mail, but email us anyway, gameshowchat@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter. Send us all your crazy tweets about how silly we are, how crazy we are, whatever it is. I want to hear what your favorite franchise is as far as first-person shooters go and what your high-scoring GoldenEye was. So Twitter @GameShowChat. I'm your host, GQ. This is Mega Sean, Great Dadakuji. Gentlemen, game over.
I got this.